From the lovely Communication Center at LaSalle University, please put your hands together for today's edition of Just Next Door. I'm Matt Passaro.
And I'm Bianca Brzezicki. You're in for a treat today as we will be traveling all across Philly to talk about networking, celebrity trivia, motherhood, and so much more on today's episode of Just Next Door. Stay tuned.
Our first stop on today's show requires you to put on your game faces, because for this segment of No Money, No Problem, we're traveling down to Fairmount Avenue to take a look at Philadelphia's very first board game cafe, Thirsty Dice.
Have you ever heard of a board game cafe? Neither have we. Located on 17th and Fairmount is Thirsty Dice, where you can grab a bite to eat and you can't cheat.
Thirsty Dice is a board game cafe. We have a collection of over 800 games. A lot of stuff that you probably heard of before, the classics, some party games, some of the newer stuff that's out, and then we have like the bona fide nerd stuff all the way on the far end here. But just stuff that's good for a lot of different experiences that folks are looking for. And you're welcome to come in, grab anything off the shelf, but what we get a lot of credit for are the folks on our staff, the game tenders, who are able to make recommendations and teach you how to play the game. When we designed the experience here at Thirsty Dice, what we really wanted to do was make sure that we had everything to kind of surround the experience of a great game night. So good comfort food, snacky stuff, shareable stuff, but knowing who our demographic is, because so many younger folks are coming back to board games just like as a way to reconnect and have a real experience, not, just something that's online. Working with Philly tutors, working with local schools. We have a program with the Franklin Institute that we do. We really want to look for ways to bring games to more people, and working with the community is a great way for us to be able to do that.
Reporting for Just Next Door, I'm Gia Lancy.
I don't know about you, Matt, but I think board games are making a comeback. What's your favorite board game?
Well, I haven't played in a while, but my favorite board game has to be Risk. It is a classic. But if you're interested in playing Risk with me and losing, or learning a new game, tickets at Thirsty Dice are $5 per person. Their hours are from noon to 10 from Tuesday to Thursday, noon to 12 on Fridays, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Saturdays, and 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays.
I hope you're good under pressure, because this next stop at Mission Escape Philadelphia will require you to break free of a locked room in under an hour. This quirky escape room is located at 707 Chestnut Street. Let's check it out.
My friends, my name is Dr. Henry Jekyll, and this is my story. Your adventure starts right now.
Mission Escape Games, it's an escape room company. We provide experiences for people who wish to have fun, and it's a team building exercise. Escape room is a themed room. Each room has a different theme, and inside the room there's going to be a series of puzzles, riddles, and clues, and you have to solve your way out.
Escape rooms are a popular craze sweeping the nation, and Philadelphia is no different. At Mission Escape Philadelphia on Chestnut Street, your skills will be put to the test with their thrilling take on a classic story.
The room that we have here is called Escape the Hideout. It's a Jekyll and Hyde theme room set in Old English Victorian era. Our set is done by artists who works for Disney, so our set is very unique and very different from what's available out there.
Mission Escape is great for a group of friends looking to race against the clock, or anyone who wants to work on team building. We can attest that walking into the room fills you with a feeling of excitement for the challenge ahead.
Typically, we see different type of reactions when people enter our room or play our room. Usually, people go from intrigued and surprised to frustrated and amazed. And when they finally complete the room, they feel very proud and they feel very happy. We get different customers from all walks of life, and everyone has a great time. It's always fun to provide a great experience.
Tickets for Mission Escape Philadelphia cost $28 per person. With Escape the Hideout being built for 8 people, grab up to 7 of your closest friends and try to successfully solve the puzzle to escape the room. Don't want to brag, but we managed to get out with a lot of hints.
Wow, I can't even escape going to class, let alone out of a locked room in under an hour. And what happens if you don't escape? Are you trapped forever?
Well, I wouldn't be because I actually did escape, so you'd likely get hungry after a while anyways if you were trapped forever. Speaking of hungry, our next stop will take us just off campus up to Chestnut Hill's highly admired frozen yogurt shop, Chill on the Hill. This sleek, self-serve frozen yogurt joint has a wide array of premium flavors, delicious toppings, and an amazing view of the Chestnut Hill area. Let's head on down and take a look.
Located on East Highland Avenue in Chestnut Hill, we recently visited Chill on the Hill, a frozen yogurt shop that adds a bit of flair to this tight-knit community.
I've wanted to come here for a couple weeks now because I live at Chestnut Hill College, so I come in here and I see the frozen yogurt all the time, and today I was like, let's come.
I just always enjoyed coming here with my friends, and in the summertime we would get a bunch of yogurt and walk around Chestnut Hill.
While this looks like your run-of-the-mill frozen yogurt shop, Chill on the Hill is actually very unique in a variety of ways. For starters, they make sure everyone is accommodated for by offering flavors to those with certain dietary restrictions.
On each of the signs for each flavor, it says like if it's dairy-free, nut-free, gluten-free.
They also welcome our furry friends and make sure they don't feel left out.
Pets are allowed in here, and we often offer cups of frozen yogurt that are edible for dogs.
The quick and easy process of making your own personalized frozen yogurt goes from choosing your flavor of choice, then adding some of their variety of toppings. They offer toppings ranging from candies to fresh fruits. But if you are trying to grab a quick treat, they offer quick, easy, pre-made options. For this edition of Philadelicious on Just Next Door, I'm Bianca Brzezicki. Come on up and chill on the hill.
Doesn't a nice bowl of frozen yogurt sound good right about now? If you're interested in going down to Chill on the Hill, their hours are 12 to 9 Sunday through Thursday and 12 to 10 Friday and Saturday.
For our next stop, we're staying a little closer to home here at LaSalle, but that doesn't mean we're not hard at work. If you don't have time to go out and do things for cheap around the city, we have you covered where you can improve your life and overcome its challenges, one hack at a time.
Hi guys, welcome back to this edition of Life Hacks. Today we're going to be showing you some at-home life hacks that you can do to improve things in your home. So we're going to first start with a coffee mug and a cell phone. Now this is going to amplify your alarm in the morning. If you have a hard time getting up, this is going to be perfect for you. So what you're going to do is you're going to have your alarm set in the morning, and then you're going to put it in your coffee mug, and you're going to wait for it to go off, and it's going to sound a lot louder than it normally would. So we're just going to wait for the alarm to go off. And that's a way to make your alarm louder for the day. Okay, so our next life hack is how to light a candle that is down too low and your lighter can't reach it. So you're going to take a stick of pasta and your lighter, light it up. And there you go. Okay, so our next life hack is how to make a speaker out of 2 cups and a roll of toilet paper. So you're going to take your 2 cups and you're going to insert the roll of toilet paper into the holes. Okay, so you're just going to insert your phone. And now you have a speaker for your next party.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll take a look at a nonprofit organization called A Baby's Breath, where we'll learn more about how and why the organization got started and where they plan to go in the future. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Just Next Door, where we introduce you to a variety of places and faces all throughout the Philadelphia area.
On this episode segment of Service with a Purpose, we visited one of the various locations of A Baby's Breath. This organization works to support families who may be struggling before and after pregnancy. A Baby's Breath does everything from donating baby supplies, offering individual and group parenting classes, to providing free housing.
In 2000, Karen Patota founded A Baby's Breath. Baby's Breath is a nonprofit organization that helps soon-to-be mothers in times of crisis.
You know, it came with first the decision not to be anybody else. And I looked at other different operations that helped mothers in crisis, and I wanted to be more broad, and not just focus on, you know, being pregnant and here's your stuff. We address things, the lifestyle, education, jobs, things like that, that contribute to why it's a crisis.
Baby's Breath offers services such as parenting classes, pregnancy tests, counseling, housing, and ultrasounds at specific locations.
Sister Nora from Cora, she advised me that we should use like a system, a currency called the Baby Store.
Everything in the Baby Store is donated, and mothers can find anything from baby clothes to formulas to diapers.
Every time they come in, they earn 10 baby dollars. And they get to spend it. They have choice with how they spend their money. As long as they're, you know, making productive steps towards their goals, then they can come as long as they want. Every service, pregnancy counseling, parenting, prenatal, tutoring, building a budget, writing a resume, looking for jobs online. We have computer access for all of our clients. They acquire baby dollars.
If you would like to volunteer for A Baby's Breath or donate baby supplies, visit their website at www.ababiesbreath.org.
Because we wanted to learn more about A Baby's Breath and the various services that they provide, the organization's co-founder and author of Creating Compassionate Places, Karen Patota, to sit down with us today. Karen, thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
That's awesome. So what inspired you to write a book on your journey in creating A Baby's Breath?
Well, after the fifth center, I thought it might be helpful for anybody that would want to do something the way I did it, if I would write a few things down. So the first version of my book was unpublishable. It had a lot of anger, so I rewrote it, and I took out the things that might be considered other people's faults, and instead thought about what emotional path I had to take in order to create A Baby's Breath.
And what specifically do you touch upon in your book?
Well, it starts with the different lessons that I learned in growing up, and mostly spiritual and emotional lessons, and then just other experiences like things that happened in my family. I myself never experienced a crisis pregnancy, but what is applicable in A Baby's Breath model is the ability to take one's emotional journey and turn it into a help for others.
So why specifically would you say that these subject matters are standing out to you or important to you?
Because I just think everybody has a story. Everybody has a reason. If you're a faith-filled person, I believe that you're called to bring to the table, God's victory in your life. So if you yourself have survived such a path, then you have so much to offer someone. So with that, I started a variety of different things to apply my pro-life convictions, but it wasn't until I started working directly with mothers, fathers, and families that it felt real and helpful.
That's great. Who does Baby's Breath exactly reach out to, and just how does it overall benefit the public?
We are available to everybody, from the mothers and fathers that are actually in the crisis pregnancy to the families. We have helped families with coping with that decision. Sometimes it's very emotionally hot at home, so we're like a quiet place to kind of sort things out. So we're a help to every social organization in the greater Philadelphia area. We're free to everyone. No limitation on religious beliefs, and you know, it's all free and without government support.
Got it. So throughout your involvement with the organization, is there any particular moment or story or event that would you say stands out to you or like really impact you the most?
There's been highs and lows.
As everything has.
The ones that you know were I would say rejoiceful were the ones where I've seen them out in the community after their crisis pregnancy. I've run into them at my daughter's ballet class, or you know, I've seen them through their crisis. Yeah.
So going back to what you said initially about your first draft of the book, I'm just someone that loves to see like the beta of things and how they develop. Would you be able to talk about a little bit like your first draft, when you said a little bit angered, if you feel comfortable doing so?
Okay. You know, you can spend your whole life blaming others. And then, and I highly advise anybody that's, you know, had some trauma in their life to start jotting things down, because it is a help to just get it out on paper. But you're not going to really help anybody else if you're working from a place of anger. So where I got to in this book was just the key things that helped me to translate into helping others, how to systematically navigate crisis. So there's an element of faith, obviously, but at one point in my path, I went to a therapist, and so I've incorporated this into all of A Baby's Breath, that it's goal-oriented, and they're not told when they're done working with us. They determine their boundary of care with us.
I gotcha. I really like what you said about how you gotta, like, in order to help people, get like rage and all that anger out of the way, because it's true. Really, to build something up, you can't be in a negative mental state and whatnot. It's just going to tear things down.
Yeah, well, that's what our advocates are there for, really. They're just, you know, like a mom or dad kind of position, in letting them get their anger out, and while they are working through their crisis.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Karen. Be sure to check out Karen's book, Creating Compassionate Places, A Baby's Breath, on Amazon or at any other book retailer.
We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll learn the ups and downs of networking and play a little Philly trivia. Stay with us.
Thank you. Be great.
According to the Mayo Clinic, exercising has stress-busting benefits by bumping up your endorphins and improving your mood.
And we're back with Just Next Door. For our next segment, we're traveling down to Market Street to visit LaSalle alum Sean Hand at KPMG to talk about networking, podcasts, and all the awkward moments in between.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Awkward Networker podcast. I'm your host, Sean Hand, and on today's podcast, I'm thrilled that I got to interview the president and CEO of the Hospital of the University of Pennsylvania.
The reason I came up with the name Awkward Networker is that I've had 10 plus years experience in networking over the place. And the one thing I can always rely on is that no matter who's in the room or what the purpose is, that networking is going to be awkward. I want anyone that follows Awkward Networker to not feel awkward, to have the tools, the techniques, and the tips that they need to be successful networking, building relationships, and meeting new people. What got me to do the podcast is that I dipped my toe in it, and people said, oh, that's kind of cool, you should do more of that. And then so I tried a little bit more, and people were like, oh, that was kind of cool too, you should do more of that. So when I first created my website, awkwardnetworker.com, I wrote my first blog, and I put it out there, and like, everyone's response was like, this is awesome, man, I'm so proud of you, do more of this. So then that blog is going, and people were like engaging with it, so I tried with the podcast. So it went from written to voice, and then now I'm working on video. The growth that I've seen has not just been national, but international at this point. My podcast has been visited in over 80 countries, and a lot of people come from cultures where it's more about what you know than who you know, and then they want to do business here in the US, and they realize, oh, wait a minute, here it's a lot about who you know. How do I get a leg up? How do I catch up? So the first season of the podcast, all of that is focused on the tips and techniques that I've developed for myself. Now season 2 came along, and I decided, rather than having me talk about it the whole time, let me get a bunch of really successful presidents, CEOs, founders, politicians on the podcast, and I'll talk to them and learn from them how they became so objectively successful by building relationships along the way. I don't care about your GPA. I don't care about where you did your master's. What I care about is that person that you met on the train that you were just nice to, who turned out to be your biggest investor 6 years later, right? Those kind of stories. That's the cool stuff I want to hear about.
I don't know about you, Bianca, but I think it was really interesting and relatable to see that networking is not a walk in the park for everyone.
I completely agree. And not only is networking important for communication majors like us, but whoever is out in the workforce, if you'd like to learn more about awkward networking, visit awkwardnetworker.com. You can also subscribe to Awkward Networker Podcast on Apple Podcasts or where podcasts are available.
For our last segment on this episode, we're going to head out to the Avenue of the Arts, where our Fast Facts Philly correspondent, Khadijah Koida, tests people on their knowledge and of Philadelphia celebrity knowledge. Yeah.
We're here at the Wilma Center, where we'll be testing people's knowledge on Philadelphia celebrities on this edition of Fast Facts Philly. In April 2007, Newsweek calls him the most powerful actor.
Denzel Washington.
Frank Sinatra.
Will Smith.
Will Smith? Yes! Oh my God, it's Will Smith. Which Philadelphia actor has a game called Little Jumpman?
No, this at all. I'm just gonna say Tina Fey for all of these.
Tina Fey!
Ask me like school questions and not get them right.
Really?
Yeah.
My phone died.
From Philly? From Philly. Yes! It's Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
I'm gonna say Kevin Hart because
Yes! Oh! Yes! Yes! Kevin Hart. Which actor used to work at the Philadelphia Daily News?
I like him too. I can't think of the guy's name.
I don't know a lot of Philadelphia actors. Like, we just rap and sing.
You got a phone, right? You got a Google.
Listen, we ain't about to Google answers on TV.
I'm gonna give you a hint. He was one of the actors in Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
You don't remember his name, but you know who it was?
Yeah.
I can't think of his name. I know it's not Matthew McConaughey, but it's something like that.
Tina Fey.
It's Bradley Cooper.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
right,
Cooper.
Bradley.
Yep. In what high school did Kobe Bryant start his successful basketball career? Northeast?
I know nothing about sports.
Oh, I think it was Lower Merion.
Lower Merion! Yay! That's it for this edition of Fast Facts Philly. Sending back to Bianca and Matt.
So Bianca, we went to a lot of places today, saw a lot of things, a lot of people. Anything stood out to you? Anything that was your favorite?
Khadijah did a great job on finding those great guests to answer those questions. It was a fun time.
I can agree. A little biased, but the Escape the Room, since I participated in that one, I definitely thought it was my favorite. Me, Tyler, and Rob definitely just conquered that without
Yeah.
any help. Just
My-
kidding, we need a lot of help.
Yep.
But anyway, let's go wrap up that. Before we end today's episode of Just Next Door, we'd like to give a few shout outs. Shout out to our LaSalle alums, Sean Hand and Matt Hendricks, for showing us that despite our struggles while at school, it does get better after college.
Let's give another shout out to our interview guest, co-founder of A Baby's Breath and author Karen Patota, for informing the public on the amazing services that A Baby's Breath provides for those struggling before, during, and after pregnancy.
Shout out to our participating organizations, including Chill on the Hill and Mission Escape Philadelphia. And last but not least, shout out to the one and only Money Suit. We could not have done it without you, baby.
And that does it for this episode of Just Next Door. Be sure to check us out on social media. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV and on YouTube at LaSalle TV Philly. We also encourage you to send us comments and suggestions.
From the LaSalle TV studio, I'm Matt Pissarro.
And I'm Bianca Brzezicki. See you next time.